Hey everyone, it's Anne Manera, and we're back again today for another color along from Color Along Variety Coloring Book Volume 18. So for today's color along, we're coloring a grayscale coloring page with chalk pastel colored pencils, and I'm using Stabilo Chalk Pastel coloring pencils. This is the 60 pack. You can check out my Amazon influencer shop. It's over on Amazon. You can see the link in the description of this video to see all of the links to all of the supplies that I use for all of the color alongs and other products that I recommend. And if you purchase something using one of those links, I do earn a small commission. So if you're interested in knowing what products I am using, have used, or will be using, then that's how you can get that information. So this is a 60 pack. Now, all that being said about these products, you can use any brand you would like. This is my color alongs are not brand specific. So I just use these because I like them. So for today's page, we're going to color a grayscale coloring page, and it is the one with the wine. So where is it? Well, here you are. Okay. Now, I do have a couple of pieces of paper behind it, as I always do, because I just want to make sure that I am not pressing. I mean, even though this is not going to bleed through, we want to make sure that it's not going to press or add any type of markings to the page following. So, I mean, that's if you keep it in the book. If you're not going to keep it in the book, then you wouldn't have to do that. So I'm going to start off right in the center with the wine bottle. One of the things you have to remember if you've never used chalk pastels before is that they will get on your hand. And there's a couple of different ways to use them. And one of them is to actually use a blender and blend them with either like a blending stump, or you could use tissue or paper towels, or you could use your finger, or you can blend them together, blend the colors together. So let the colors blend themselves. I don't know. I hope that makes sense. So I'm going to show you. That's the best way to explain it. I do have a really good point on these, and I use Bostitch pencil sharpener to sharpen these, or I use a razor blade. I'm not going to demonstrate that because we don't want to have any bloodshed here on camera. We don't want to see anybody bleeding. And I had a couple of people just kind of say, that looks dangerous, so we're not going to do that. So I'm going to take this kind of mustard color now, because it's a good blender, good neutral color, and I'm just going to kind of go lightly on top of the green that I already colored, just to kind of hit it in different areas. Now, when you're coloring a grayscale page, same rules apply no matter what medium you're using, whether you're using watercolor pencils, or whether you're using crayon or chalk pastels or colored pencils. It's a grayscale coloring page, and you want to see the gray. You want to be able to see the gray shining through. You don't want this to become an opaque page. And what you want to make sure happens, do I have my little... Yes, I do. You want to be able to remove some things too. So this part right here is the whitest part, and I should not have colored that. So I'm taking this little eraser and I'm erasing what's there. So I'm not going to color this part or this part because that part's white, but I am going to color that because that's silver, right? So I'm going to use this very light gray. I know, kind of crazy that I'm using gray on a grayscale page, but it makes a difference. I'm going to add a tiny bit of light blue to that to kind of give it a shimmer. And then the label, I'm leaving the way it is for now. I'm going to think about that later. But I'm looking at this mustard color and thinking this would be good for the champagne that's in the glass, because it's going to have a little bit of a yellow tint to it. So I'm using a little tiny bit, and then I'm giving it a little bit of that rim of where the top of it is. But you want that gray to shine through. You want that... you want to see the darks and the lights through your color, and this is a good page to do that with. Now, a lot of people stumble or struggle to color actual glass, and in this case, we're going to kind of say these glasses are going to be just kind of a clear crystal color. So we're going to leave them the way they are and simply add a tiny bit of blue where the darker section is, where that gray area is. But the portions of it that are white, we're leaving. The other part is that we're going over what we colored for the actual beverage inside it, for that champagne that's in there. because we want to make it look like the glass is in front of the liquid. Okay, let's see. Now we've got kind of this brownish stem that's coming across here. So I'm going to use this brown color here. Give it a little bit of a, kind of the direction. You want to make sure you color in the direction of the object that you're coloring. Maybe these should have been green. I don't know. Grapes, green, stems, I don't know. We're making a brown. I'm not going to worry about it. But that little squiggly thing probably should be green. Okay, so let's get a darker green. This is a good green, actually. And I'm just kind of like hitting each one of them, going in the direction of what is there, drawing over it in a way. And I can kind of go a little bit with the green on top of the brown. Maybe this kind of goes into this leaf right here. We need a different green. Let's see what else we have. Oh, man, I hate when that happens. Okay. All right, so now this goes over here. And then put this pot right here. And just color on top of this leaf right here. Now I've kind of darkened my veins. In this portion here, I'm just going to use the same pressure, a light pressure, and then just kind of go back in with the veins of the leaves. I'm going to go back in with this lighter green that we used for the actual bottle, and go back over this. So this is blending it within itself, using two different colors to kind of blend together, or to, as a blender. A lot of people use blending stumps or blending, or colorless blenders, and a colorless blender is usually something that is a neutral color that will actually blend other colors together without changing the color. So let's add a little bit of this green again here to the stem. And of course, we've got to have a variety of grapes. We need to have some, like, I don't know, different colors. Purple. Here's another stem here. A stem. I mean, these could be brown. They could be green. So these grapes behind there, I'm thinking are going to be purple. But these grapes here will be a lighter green. So let's see what else we have for a lighter. This is a lighter green right here. Now for the grapes, I want to color them same pressure, but in the direction of the grape. Here's another grape. But if I'm using the same pressure on this grape as the darker grape behind there, it is just looking like it is much darker. And then this section here. Again here. So you can see the difference between the darker grapes and the lighter grapes just because of the color of the page behind the colors I'm adding. So if we were using a line art page, we would color this differently because we would vary the pressure. But in a grayscale page, there's no need to worry about that because the pressure is being varied for you by adding the grays and the different tones of gray throughout the coloring page. So we're going to go with the purple for the next section. Put these over here so they don't stumble around like they just did. I'm going to go with this deep purple right here. I don't like that point that's on there, because it's going to be too scratchy. Now, how do you identify between these little pieces of, these little circular objects, right? You want to make sure that you add some black. We're going to accentuate this with some black. Again, look at these. These are lighter in color. And then we're going back here. Now, these almost look like they could be like a reddish, globish. You know, those really expensive grapes. I'm going to make them this color. That are like red globe, I think they're called. But I'm going to add purple to this. So I'm kind of giving it a little bit of color with this magenta color. And then I'm going to add some purple and blend it, just like we blended the other one. And I'm not blending any of this page with anything else except the pencils. So now we've got this walnut here, and I'm thinking it should be kind of a tan color. So this is a nice tan color here. So here's our walnut. And I'm going to go back in with a darker brown. We'll use this color here that's got a good point on it. Just kind of add a little bit of that color there. Maybe we'll put like a little tap to it. Just tap it a little bit so that it looks like it's, it doesn't look like it's so sharp of a line. Just, see, just kind of like dull it. And then we've got that apple. And it doesn't really look like it's completely red, right? So we're just going to kind of add a little bit of this section here. This reminds me of like a Fuji apple, or like a maybe a Pink Lady apple, I think they're called. And I saw some of those the other day. And this middle section was almost a yellow. So I'm kind of using it on its side. And almost blending it together with that yellow. And then kind of pulling, kind of blow off that dust. Pulling that off. And as we get towards the middle section, and then that stem to me is a brownish color. So it just kind of blends it together with the actual the colors, not anything else. Now this top portion here, I'm going to leave that white because it's very, very white, and I want it to actually kind of stand out white. But then we've got this corner piece of this table, and that is probably a brown color. So let's kind of color these legs a little bit of a brown color and just kind of go in the direction of what the legs actually are. I'm going to go off the page. And then I'm going to take that light brown that we were working with for the walnut, and I'm going to just kind of blend. I'm going to blend with those.